Welcome to this episode of the story. Have you subscribed yet? Chapter 102, New Threats and the Undercurrents in the Spirit Fantasy Realm. After the thrilling battle, Linksea Town quickly plunged into the intense work of reconstruction and defense enhancement. The common people and cultivators in the town worked together to repair the damaged buildings, strengthen the defensive fortifications, and comprehensively upgrade the spiritual power defense formations. With the assistance of the illusory figure, Sumu went into seclusion in a quiet place deep within Linksea Town, focusing on delving into the power of the fused artifact. The fused artifact was like a perfectly crafted treasure, emitting multicolored light. Runes of various spiritual powers such as ice, shadow, wind, and flame flowed on it, intertwining and integrating with each other to form a mysterious and intricate pattern. Sumu gently held the artifact and circulated the spiritual power in his body to resonate with it, trying to explore its deeper mysteries. During his secluded cultivation, Sumu entered a state of emptiness. His consciousness seemed to merge with the artifact, allowing him to clearly perceive the flow and changes of various spiritual powers within the artifact. Sumu discovered that the fused artifact not only possessed the characteristics of the four artifacts, but also gave birth to a new and even more powerful spiritual power, chaotic spiritual power. This spiritual power contained the chaotic power of the beginning of all things, embodying both the vitality of creation and the threat of destruction with infinite potential. Sumu attempted to guide the chaotic spiritual power to slowly flow through the meridians in his body. Everywhere it passed, he could feel the enhancement and strengthening of his own spiritual power. However, the chaotic spiritual power was powerful and unruly, like a runaway wild horse. The slightest carelessness could lead to its loss of control, causing serious harm to himself. Relying on his tenacious will and precise control of spiritual power, Sumu carefully tamed this powerful force. As his cultivation deepened, Sumu gradually mastered some techniques for using the chaotic spiritual power. He unleashed the move Spiritual Abyss, Chaotic Sky, splitting that incorporated the chaotic spiritual power. A multicolored spiritual power sword key, mixed with a chaotic aura, shot out from the artifact, instantly splitting a huge stone mountain in half. The cut was smooth, and the surrounding space slightly distorted under this force. The power of this chaotic spiritual power is indeed astonishing. If I can fully master it, it will surely play a huge role in future battles, Sumu thought to himself with delight. However, he was well aware that truly mastering this force would require more time and effort. However, just as everyone in Linksea Town was actively preparing for the possible return of the mysterious force, some strange changes were quietly taking place in other parts of the spirit fantasy realm. In a desolate desert on the edge of the spirit fantasy realm, the originally calm sand dunes suddenly began to tremble violently. Black cracks spread from the ground, and a creepy dark aura emanated from the cracks. From the cracks, a group of distorted and hideous dark creatures slowly emerged. These dark creatures were entwined with thick, dark spiritual power. Their eyes glowed blood, red, and they let out deep growls. Driven by some mysterious force, they slowly advanced towards the central region of the spirit fantasy realm. At the same time, in an ancient forest in the spirit fantasy realm, the originally vibrant trees began to wither rapidly. The leaves fell, and the tree trunks turned pitch black. The spirit beasts in the forest became restless and fled in all directions. In the depths of the forest, a huge black vortex appeared, constantly spewing out dark mist. Wherever the mist passed, vitality vanished. In an ancient town in the spirit fantasy realm, strange cries often echoed at night. The residents of the town found that their domestic animals disappeared inexplicably, and some people who went out at night never returned. The shadow of fear began to spread in the town, causing panic among the people. All these signs indicated that a new dark force was quietly rising in the spirit fantasy realm, and this force seemed to have no connection with the previous mysterious force. The various forces in the spirit fantasy realm began to notice these abnormalities, but they knew nothing about the origin and purpose of this dark force. Linksea Town also received news of these abnormal situations. Sumu ended his seclusion and, together with the elders of Linksea Town and the illusory figure, discussed countermeasures. Judging from the current situation, This new dark force is menacing and uses strange methods. We must find out its origin and purpose as soon as possible. Otherwise, the spirit fantasy realm will face a great disaster, Sumu said with a frown and a solemn expression. An elder nodded in agreement. That's right, and we also need to further investigate whether this force is related to the mysterious force. If they collude with each other, the situation will be even more severe. After a moment of thought, the illusory figure said, I have a hunch that this new dark force may be related to some ancient secret hidden deep in the spirit fantasy realm. We need to look for clues in the historical records of the spirit fantasy realm. After discussion, Linksea Town decided to divide into several groups. One group, led by Sumo, would go to the places where abnormalities had occurred for on-the-spot investigations to explore the source of this dark force. Another group, led by the elders, would deeply study the ancient books of the spirit fantasy realm to find clues related to this dark force. And yet another group would be responsible for closely monitoring the movements of the mysterious force to prevent them from colluding with this new force. Sumu led the mysterious spirit beast and several relatively powerful cultivators on the journey to explore the source of the dark force. They first came to the desolate desert. As they approached the desert, they could feel the dark aura rushing towards them, making them feel uncomfortable all over. Everyone, be careful! The dark aura here is very strong, and there are probably many dangers, Sumo reminded in a low voice. Everyone nodded, circulated their spiritual power, and walked cautiously towards the depths of the desert. Shortly after entering the desert, they encountered that group of distorted dark creatures. Seeing Sumu and the others, the dark creatures let out excited growls and rushed towards them. These dark creatures were extremely fast and moved in a strange and unpredictable way. Sumu quickly waved the fused artifact and used Spiritual Abyss Chaotic Protection. A multicolored shield containing chaotic spiritual power instantly protected everyone. The dark creatures hit the shield, making bang-bang sounds, but the shield remained as solid as ever. The mysterious spirit beast let out a roar, spat out raging purple flames, and charged towards the group of dark creatures. The purple flames raged among the dark creatures, and many were engulfed by the flames, letting out miserable cries. However, there were so many dark creatures that they kept coming. Seeing this, Sumu used the enhanced version of Spiritual Abyss Myriad Phenomena Unity Break, incorporating the chaotic spiritual power into it. A more powerful multicolored spiritual power beam shot out from the artifact and blasted towards the group of dark creatures. Wherever the spiritual power beam passed, the dark creatures dissipated one after another, turning into clusters of black smoke. After a fierce battle, Sumu and the others temporarily repelled the dark creatures. But they knew this was just the beginning, and more dangers awaited them ahead. In this desert filled with dark aura, could Sumu and the others find the source of the dark force? Was this new dark force related to the mysterious force? Everything was full of unknowns, making people couldn't help but worry about their fate. Sumu and the others continued to delve deeper into the desert. The surrounding dark aura became even stronger, like solid black fog, lingering around everyone, trying to erode their spiritual power. The purple flames of the mysterious spirit beast dimmed a bit under this thick, dark aura. This dark aura is rather strange. It seems to be constantly consuming our spiritual power. Everyone, stay vigilant and try to conserve your spiritual power, Sumu said. At the same time, he circulated the spiritual power in his body to form a spiritual power barrier to resist the erosion of the dark aura. Everyone followed suit, each unleashing their spiritual power shields, and they advanced with difficulty in the desert. As they went deeper, they discovered a huge black pyramid ahead. The surface of the pyramid was engraved with strange runes that flickered with a strange light, echoing the surrounding dark aura. A powerful and evil power fluctuation emanated from the pyramid, giving everyone an ominous feeling. This pyramid doesn't seem ordinary. The dark force is likely to originate from here, Sumu said, tightly gripping the fused artifact as he cautiously approached the pyramid. When they got close to the pyramid, a group of dark warriors suddenly appeared around it. These dark warriors were tall, wearing black armor and holding black blades, exuding a powerful dark spiritual power. The dark warriors, without a word, brandished their blades and charged towards Sumu and the others. Sumu quickly used Spiritual Abyss, Chaotic Sky, Splitting. The multicolored spiritual power sword Ki whistled out and collided with the blades of the Dark Warriors. The moment the spiritual power sword Ki and the blades made contact, a dazzling light burst out and a powerful spiritual power impact sent the surrounding sand and stones flying. The mysterious spirit beast and the other cultivators also joined the battle. The mysterious spirit beast spat out purple flames, trying to incinerate the Dark Warriors. The cultivators unleashed various spiritual power moves and engaged in close combat with the Dark Warriors. However, the Dark Warriors were quite powerful. Their attacks were sharp and fierce, and each swing of their blades carried a powerful dark spiritual power, putting great pressure on Sumu and the others. During the battle, Sumu noticed that the armor of the Dark Warriors seemed to be able to absorb their spiritual power attacks, greatly reducing their power. Everyone, don't attack blindly. Look for the weaknesses in their armor, Sumu shouted loudly. Hearing this, everyone began to carefully observe the movements of the Dark Warriors, trying to find their flaws. A cultivator, while dodging the attack of a Dark Warrior, noticed that the connection between the neck and the armor of the Dark Warrior had relatively weak defenses. Seizing the opportunity, he used Spiritual Wind Piercing. A sharp wind, attribute spiritual, power blade stabbed towards the neck of the Dark Warrior. The Dark Warrior couldn't dodge in time and was hit in the neck. It let out a roar, and its body swayed a few times. Sumu seized this opportunity and used Spiritual Abyss Myriad Phenomena Unity Break, concentrating his power to attack the weak point at the neck of the Dark Warrior. The powerful spiritual power beam hit the Dark Warrior, instantly piercing through its neck. The body of the Dark Warrior turned into a cloud of black smoke and dissipated. With this experience, everyone began to focus on attacking the weak point at the necks of the Dark Warriors. With the concerted efforts of everyone, the Dark Warriors were gradually repelled. However, when they were about to approach the pyramid again, the gate of the pyramid slowly opened, and an even more powerful dark force surged out from inside, enveloping everyone. Under the impact of this powerful dark force, Sumu and the others fell to the ground one after another. Sumu gritted his teeth and circulated all the spiritual power in his body, trying to resist this dark force. Everyone, hold on! We can't be devoured by this force, Sumu shouted loudly. Just as everyone was struggling to hold on, Sumu suddenly discovered that there seemed to be some kind of consciousness hidden in this dark force, a consciousness full of malice and a desire for destruction. Sumu tried to communicate with this consciousness through the eye of the spiritual abyss, attempting to explore the purpose of the dark force. You intruders! How dare you disturb my slumber! This spirit fantasy realm will be reduced to ashes under my dark power. The dark consciousness roared in Sumo's mind. Who exactly are you? Why do you want to destroy the spirit fantasy realm? Sumo responded in his heart. I am the remnant soul of the dark demon god who has been sealed for a long time. Now I have revived with the help of this dark aura. The light of the spirit fantasy realm disgusts me. I want to plunge everything into darkness, the dark consciousness said maniacally. Sumu was shocked. He didn't expect that this dark force was actually the remnant soul of the dark demon god behind it. He knew the situation was critical and that he had to come up with a countermeasure as soon as possible to stop the conspiracy of the remnant soul of the dark demon god. Everyone, listen. This dark force comes from the remnant soul of the dark demon god. We must find a way to stop its revival. Sumu told everyone this news. After hearing this, everyone's faces became very solemn, but their eyes still showed a firm belief. In front of this perilous black pyramid, could Sumu and the others find a way to stop the revival of the remnant soul of the dark demon god? How would they deal with this unprecedentedly powerful dark force? And could the elders who stayed in Linksea Town, studying the ancient books, find the key clues to counter the remnant soul of the dark demon god? Everything was full of suspense, making people eager to know the subsequent development. The story continues. More exciting content is coming up. Subscribe as soon as possible.